Miranda. Just before Ron's first deployment, they were married. Miranda was 6 months pregnant with their first son, Cameron, when Ron deployed to Afghanistan for the second time. Just a month before he returned home, Ron was called on a special operations mission. The aim was to hunt down a deadly terrorist, a leader in that world. He was in a remote mountain village, very dangerous territory. On April 6, 2008, Ron was among the few dozen Special Forces soldiers and 100 Afghan commandos who dropped off by helicopter into Shock Valley, a rocky, barren valley far away from reinforcements. There's nobody close. Ron was the only medic for the team. While he was still near the base of the mountain, the first team began to scale the cliff toward the village. As they approached the top, roughly 200 well-trained and well-armed terrorists ambushed the American and Afghan forces. Soon Ron heard his comrade call his name. Ryan Whelan had been struck by shrapnel at the base of the mountain. He was very, very seriously hurt, but Ron braved enemy fire to rush to his friend and to treat his wounds. Then he heard over the radio that American fighters near the top of the cliff were pinned down and some were critically injured. There was blood all over the place. It was a tough, tough situation to be in. Immediately, Ron climbed the Rocky Mountain, all the while fighting back against the enemy and dodging gunfire left and right. Rockets were shot at him. Everything was shot at him. When he reached the top, one of his close friends, an Afghan interpreter, was already dead. 2 Americans had been shot, Dylan Bear and Luis Morales. He treated them both to stabilize them and their condition. Ron threw his body on top of Dylan to protect him from shrapnel. It was there on that cliff that Ron realized, and I guess he felt pretty much like that was it, right, Ron? But Ron realized that this was probably the end, might be all over. And as he recounts, I just said a prayer and asked that my wife and son would be okay with what was going to happen. Then I just went back to work. One of his teammates, John Walding, was trying to protect the injured when he was shot, almost severing his leg entirely. As Ron was still rendering life-saving aid to Dylan, he directed another soldier to help stem the bleeding. Then a bullet cut through Master Sergeant Scott Ford's arm and struck Ron's helmet. Ron said it felt like he had been hit on the head with a baseball bat. But he got up and, in pretty bad shape, bandaged Scott's arm. Soon Ron and his comrades used nylon webbing to lower the most critically injured down the sides of this really dangerous